everybody. Welcome to a special episode of This Week at MBE. I came in, this is Sunday right now, and Biggs has all kinds of things set up for us. Yeah, I'm pretty excited about it too. It really goes to show all the things that we do throughout the week, because we just don't work on one project at a time. We work on many projects at a time. So let's just start with some billet manifolds in process. So these are big nines right here. So we got one that's finished, ready to go right here. You can see 17 pounds, half the weight of the cast one. And for the guys that have to run a cast manifold, if you have rules for that, we have cast versions of that also. And then also, here's the A460 right here. So finally, because the A460 guys definitely need a manifold. There's not a lot out there that's perfect by any means, and this certainly solves a lot of the inefficiencies of the intake manifolds for a Dominator, especially in the truck pull and drag race steel. This thing has already been tested. We've done a bunch of these already. We've dynoed them with a couple of real good engine builders and gave us feedback, and they were extremely happy. Like 130, 140 over the trick flow that we poured ourselves. So amazing stuff. You got Scott and Joey building all this. You got me and Bob designing the manifolds with Scott and Joey. Kellen Brown helps with some of that stuff also. If you guys know Kellen, he's ultra talented, and just someone else we have. And then Biggs started off on the billet Hemis over here. So this is something that we were working on last week, along with the billet manifolds, along with all the other things we're going to show you. These are always eye candy. So this is for the 4800 bore space Hemi stuff. So we do this for truck pullers, pro mod guys, things like that. Very, very popular. Typically this stuff gets dynoed against other 4800 stuff, and the reason why we stay busy with it is because they dyno well. And then they go on the track, more importantly, and they perform. And then, so we'll come over here. We got Big set this up. So these are like some of the stages of the big nines, right? So we have. So this is after the first stop. All it's done is we just done some cubing here. We have the spark plugs in it, but no seat bores, no guide bores. None of that is finished. So then it goes to the next process. We put seat bores in it. We get the guide bores in it. We get the rocker gear in it. Now we're ready to put the guides in, put the seats in, and go on for final porting. And then, of course, we have a finished one here that is ready to go. The good thing about all this is we are trying to we're trying to stay ahead of it a little bit. We're working very hard at that, where we're going to have 18s, or we have 18s in inventory. We have big 9s in inventory. And we also have rockers for all this stuff. Now, we spent some time. We've got about 30, 40 sets of rockers on order for our products. I can't help it if, actually, we have them on order, so when November, December hits, it's not going to take 6 to 8 months to get this stuff out anymore. We're trying to get to the point where we'll be 6 to 8 weeks or less, maybe even 4 weeks. We've got the valve deal figured out where we're going to be able to get valves. We're going to inventory a bunch, but even on the other deal, it looks like Exeldyne's going to get us valves in about 5 weeks. So that is not going to be the holdup. The biggest thing is just getting your orders in. You still have other vendors that we have to deal with, or you have just things that come up. So just remember, when you place your order in December, it's just much harder because all the vendors are extremely busy at that time. If you get the orders in now, then everything gets finished before December. So you're actually building your engine in November, December, while everybody's waiting for their stuff in March. So just try and stay ahead of it. I think you can see the value in doing that for yourself and not creating a bunch of stress on you also. And then
you didn't talk about
that's right. So this is a big 9. So this is a normally aspirated version, or very light nitrous. So it's got the soft chamber in it, 2550 inch 810 valve. You got typical big 9 stuff. It's over 600 CFM. These have special heat-treated hat washers, pressed-in hat washers, so you don't have to run a washer underneath the nut. They will not gall. The nut will gall before the hat washer will. They are very, very tough. And then, of course, the one-piece rocker bar with the 23 fasteners. And these things just run. These do really, really good for all our customers. Anywhere from truck pulling, drag racing. Now we have a Roots blower set up for this. We got Pro Chargers, guys running that. Damon Merchant in the No Prep Kings, he runs this with a Pro Charger, and that's been real successful. Now we'll come in here, and Bob got some of the intake manifolds that we do. So we got the big 9. So we have a big 9. One of these is for a 9/800 deck. This is for a 10-2. And then we do spacers that are the same as the flange. You can't even see the spacer. So if you go to a 10-4 or a 10-6, we just put a 200,000 spacer on it or something like that. It's no big deal. Okay, then we have the small block stuff. So you got the small block for a Dominator, drag racing. Then you got the small block for a 4150. So you can see the difference. Well, this is how you see the difference. I think this says a big, so you can get in there like that. So I don't know if you guys can see in there or not, but just take a gander at how much larger the drag race one has to be. And I promise you the drag race one is not too big by any means. And this one over here is for like super late models, just dirt guys, things like that. So there's a big difference though. Drag race stuff runs, it's 6,000 RPM for about a tenth of a second, and then from there, depending on the cubic inch, then it goes to 8,000 to 10. The reason why these are smaller, the dirt guys are at 3,600 on restarts, and they can't be getting started. They can't be getting passed on restarts. So this cures that. This makes a bunch of power at 3,600. Our dirt stuff, we make sure that the ports aren't too big. The drag race versions are completely different. And then we got A460s here because we keep these in inventory too, because these have become a very popular product. Some of the things we do, I believe, that are different. We feel like we really look at the cross-sectional areas in this. I believe the A460 stuff is especially for the truck pullers and things like that with the amount of RPM they want to run, or the drag race guys with the cubic inch, getting the proper cross-sectional area so that area will feed the engine for that RPM or that cubic inch. So here's one. This set's just off the CNC. From here, the guides will get honed, it'll get valve jobbed, so it'll look a lot prettier when it's finished. And the trick flow ones, we don't move guide bores or anything like that, so all this stuff is legal for the truck pull guys. This is how they come in. And then from there, we'll put the seats and guides in, and we'll port them on the machine, on the DMGs. I came in, all this was set up too, so this is either a 13 or a 10 degree. The castings look similar, but they are completely different heads. They take different rockers, everything like that. Take the same headers though. So this is for a drag race setup. And you can see how light that is. This particular manifold is 9 pounds. 9 pounds of beautiful billet. And I promise you, I'm not super strong, and I can pick this up and do this with it. And we put not a lift pad there because that's not where you pull it out of the engine right there, because it's too thin. We don't want to take a chance on this breaking. So, and then the billet valley trays that Scott and Joey designed. These are gorgeous. And then we O-ring the cylinder head for that, so this all fits nice. But so this is one of the first ops that the heads get. We just run a rough chamber in it, things like that. Make sure there's no core shift, and then from there we go on to do all our CNC work, put the spark plugs in, everything like that, and then you have a finished version here. So these are completely finished. O-ring for the valley tray, so you don't have to run silicone. And this particular customer wanted the O-rings in the intake flange also. So we can do that with or without the O-ring. And then these are really pretty. And you know, for a wedge head, this thing has a bunch more cross-sectional area for the drag race guys. For the dirt guys, it's about 4 to 500 thousandths taller at the spring pocket. And what that does, it lets us raise the port up right there. And it makes it so we don't have to go so wide over the short turn, and that's port energy, and that makes them run on the dirt stuff. We have midgets versions of this. We have 410 sprint car versions of this. We have drag race versions of this. So we have 3 different intake ports, 3 different exhaust ports available for this. And that's for the 10 and the 13. So you got 6 different programs basically for this. And this is another one that we're keeping in inventory with the 13s. We'll have rockers there for this. And some of the rockers are already here for this also. So this stuff can get out very, very, very quickly. We have manifolds in inventory. We have heads in stock. Just trying to get ahead for the December rush so guys can go racing in February or earlier. All right, and then here's another setup right here. We've been working with Steve Johnson, Induction Solutions. So he's done a bunch of these for us for the 13. We send him an intake manifold. He puts the system on for it. He gives you all of his paperwork and everything like that, and then you have access to him, which that's probably the most important part, is having access to him, so you go very fast and you don't burn it up. But this is the last one of these that are left, but like I said, working with Steve's easy. I can send him one of these. We can get this done in a couple weeks. It's not a big deal. So this is a setup right here for a gentleman, Chuck Barnes. So all this stuff is ready to go. We have the MBE retainers because we're making those. We're keeping those in inventory because, believe it or not, parts like this were hard to get at one time. Not anymore. I have them here. And then we have ID locators. Of course, we have the PSI springs. This particular one is getting a 1259 RML, so that's a PSI. So with a 1259 RML, this is kind of like a bracket race deal, so this will be about 900 lift. And the reason why we chose this spring is because it's a lower rate. Rate, when you look at a spring sheet, is stress on the wire. With the lower rate, that'll work nice for a for a bracket style engine, where this guy can just go make runs on Saturday night and not have to worry about it. Okay, but these are really pretty. So this is the stuff that we work on all through the week. We'll be working all week long. We work on all these projects. So if you look at Bob, Dave, well, really all of them, and Ian, who are back in the shop, there's not one day that's the same for them, for sure. And then, of course, we have repairs that come in and things like that, and sometimes things have to be shuffled around because people need to go racing, and we certainly treat that as very, very important, especially if it's our product. There's times we get that stuff out of here in 2 or 3 days. So right here, this is, like I said, this is the nitrous version, 7-degree soft chamber in it. And this 13-degree head, because of the plug placement, is very, very nitrous friendly. It will take timing. And nitrous guys understand what that means, because if you can run more timing, they will make more power with nitrous. This thing is very, very timing friendly. And that's part of the reason why it's been so successful. We do a lot of these for grudge guys, and we don't put our logo on them. We can do that too. I don't mind at all. And then if you have engine builders, we can put your logo on it. And again, so just think about it. If you plan on doing this over the winter, now's the time to get started on it. Because this way you'll be ahead of it. So just keep that in mind. Like I said, we're doing everything on our part with the rockers, the valves, the inventory, things like that to keep this rolling. So thank you very much for joining us at the special This Week at MBE. Have a great week, everybody.